It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
How bad is your ex? We dug into the battle of the exes this morning, and we're not disappointed. If you missed it during the live show, we'll catch you up in the podcast here in a couple of seconds. Let's go.
What'd you miss about me? Like when you were gone for 7 days. What was one thing you're like, what? Can't wait. Not all at once.
I'm going to need a minute.
You're going to need a minute because there's so many?
Honestly, I miss. Here's the big thing for me is our house is a little bit of a beehive in the morning. We've got a couple of college football players that are staying with us. And then my daughter gets up and she kind of leads some workouts at different schools. So they're up and moving early in the morning. So I get to talk to them. And then my wife was working all last week while I had it off. Mm-hmm. And so she gets up and goes to the gym and then goes to work. And I missed that, like, there was a dead time. I'm not good alone. Like, I don't do well alone. There was this dead time in the morning that I miss talking to our listeners. I miss talking to you.
Yeah.
I just miss being around people that, like, I had to keep myself busy. I had to start a list the night before of things that needed to get done or that I had to try and do. And if it was a workout and then I had this to do on our property and this to do and this to do, and I'm changing the oil on this or I'm painting this, whatever. But like I had to keep myself busy.
I felt like I got so much accomplished last week. So it was nice. It was kind of a vacation, kind of not. But we had some listeners that were wondering where we were at. You're taking vacation again. But listen, your company gives you time off. You got to use it.
And we've got these periods that we don't take time off because we're in ratings period, right? That's where we make our bones, right? And so, like, we try and take as much time. And I don't do anything in the winter. I don't coach a sport. I'm not big into, like, snowmobiling or anything like that. So, like, winter for me, like, I don't know. I'd rather take my time off during the summer where I can just kind of, get some stuff done. But I did get a chance. This vacation that I just took this last week was a great time for me. I really was able to, and maybe it's just me getting old, but I really concentrated on like the little things in life, right? Like just kind of, things that are like little pleasures in life. Like for me, I took a nap on our hammock for an hour one morning at 10 a.m.
Glorious.
I walked out there. I was picking up dog poop. I was going to mow the lawn later that day once everything dried up. And I just laid on our hammock for like an hour. I put on like yacht rock.
Yep.
And I played some like Jerry Rafferty or some Doobie Brothers. And I fell asleep for an hour. And there was nothing to wake me up. And when I woke up, it was just birds chirping and squirrels gathering nuts and stuff like that.
Good for you.
It was those things. So I wanted to spend some time this morning and find out, what is your life's little pleasure? Now, most of us are going to say our family or our loved ones, whether it's your husband, your wife, your fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But like, get outside of that a little bit.
Yeah.
And can you tell me what one of your life's little pleasures are? I want you to call or text right now, and I want to dig into these next. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to hear from other people what their little pleasures are in life. And it could open up you to get beyond the race that you're in, whether it's the race to go to work, the race to get your kids to an event, the race to start thinking about school shopping.
What is one thing that you have happen, and it's not too often that it happens, but you're like, wow, that just brought me so much pleasure. Like I just bought from TJ Maxx one of those electronic salt things, a salt dispenser.
Okay.
It's just one of those things I didn't know I needed, but it's like a little pleasure.
Little pleasures. What's one of those things that's going on in your life right now? Will you call? So after taking a little vacation and having just an exorbitant amount of time where I was the only one at our house, started thinking about those little pleasures, like happy that my son's getting married and my daughter's going to be off to med school soon and my other son's going to be graduating, like really kind of counting my blessings. What's a little pleasure that you've got in your life right now that you just like, boom, you saw the light?
Well, when I do it, like on a Sunday or a Saturday morning, like it was really dark walking in today. Normally during the summer, it was like a day. Yesterday, it was, brighter out at that time. And it was pitch black this morning. I'm like, fall is on its way for sure. But to wake up and watch the sun come up with my mug of coffee, the fire going, a candle on before anybody else is up, that's like one of those little pleasures. And I just bought a mandolin. Like, I love it. I'm going to make so many scalloped potatoes. You have no idea.
Oh, I thought you meant like the instrument.
No, there is an instrument like that, but a mandolin, like one of those adjustable, like steel slicers.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Sorry for doing that with my hand. But
Yeah.
like you can do it with cucumbers.
we know.
Carrots, big carrots.
I just want to know you're a mess. In your life, what's just a little pleasure for you? That's kind of my big question for you. Brian, you're first up, man. I appreciate you holding. What do you got?
Being able to watch my kids sleep
Yeah.
and actually be at peace.
Yeah, right? That's always a good thing, right?
That's beautiful. I love that.
If you, at a point, aren't so worried about your children that you're enjoying their life and just happy about the next day that's going to come, I get that. Bree, what do you got for us? Just a simple pleasure in life.
I just want sunshine and warmth.
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
Had the conversation with my mom. She wants to see herself most of the year as a snowbird when she retires.
I'll be there.
And I get it. She wants to be outside in the sun every single day. She's like, listen, that's when I'm the happiest. And I get it.
I know some people love all the seasons, and you love the snow, and you love everything about
That's
it.
me.
I don't.
I know.
When I walk outside, I want the fear of not dying to not be a thing.
Yeah.
You can trip and fall in the winter around here and die from exposure.
But you could go outside and you want to be in Florida, Arizona, and what if you trip and fall and then you die of heat exhaustion?
You're not going to die of heat exhaustion just laying there. You could die in the cold.
There's never a 0% chance.
It could be January 3rd and I walk outside to put the trash away and you could die. Not going to have that. Blake, you're up next. Simple pleasures in life.
I would say getting some good ice cream.
Oh, that's
yes,
it.
that's a
What's
good one.
up?
Oh, everyone at my event yesterday, just like the back of their tongue to the tip, they were just licking away at this ice cream cone. I'm like, that looks incredible.
Give
what a nice
me
little treat.
an amazing simple pleasure you've got going on in your life, will you? Talking about those little simple pleasures in life. All of a sudden they present themselves and you're like, oh my gosh. One of my favorite lines from a movie, my favorite movie ever, is called The Color of Money with Paul Newman and Tom Cruise. And Paul Newman just says, it's like one of those things that can make your day like electricity that you never think about.
Yeah, life's
You walk
little
in,
pleasures.
you flip that switch, and all of a sudden, boom, you've got something. What's one of life's little pleasures for you? And you probably take it for granted every once in a while, and then all of a sudden you stop and you think about it like, what, Haley?
A hug or a kiss. But the best thing is when your child tells you that they love you for no reason at all.
Aww.
That is a beautiful one.
I've come to realize that if my kid says I love you, it has a price
Can I
tag
have?
attached.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's or the best. My 17-year-old. Hey, what are you doing today? Nothing. What's going on? Well, I was thinking, and then I know it comes with a price tag after that. I was thinking if I got a new catcher's mitt now for $400, then yeah, we'll have it really broke in for next year. I go, okay, cool. Where are you going to
That's
get
a
that
good
at? Yeah, and how many hours you're working today at your job? I want to know what's one of life's little pleasures for Adam.
Blowing stuff up.
Like what? What's exploding?
Haven't you ever taken like a stuffed animal and put a half-pound can of tanninite in it, shot it, and watched it blow up?
No, never once have I ever blown up one of my kids' stuffed animals. But I appreciate your thoughts on it. Okay, I mean, it can be blown. I like starting fires.
if everyone is in on it, like you didn't take your daughter's, what are they called? The mellows, plush mellows or whatever, and she loves it, and then you blow it up, that's terrible. But if she's in on it, that could be a
I
lot
had
of
about
fun.
an 8-hour fire going yesterday. I like that.
Cool.
Burning a lot of old limbs and everything like that. Simple pleasure for Lane.
Midnight snacking.
There it is.
Oh, I don't know.
See, for us, that's like 10 p.m. snacking or like 9 p.m. snacking. If you have a snack right before you
men
go to
can
bed.
do that. If I wake up and have like a little piece of chocolate, I wake up like 80 pounds heavier. Guys can wake up and have like a bunch of wings.
I got time for one more here real quick. Wyatt, simple pleasure in life.
You know, one of my all-around favorite simple pleasures is listening to music.
Oh, there it is, right?
It can do something. It can transform you. That's like when I do like any back in the day songs, people will always be like, oh my God, I remember I had my first kiss to that song. Or
There's always a memory associated
Yeah.
with it somehow. But your simple pleasure in life is what? So Friday night, my wife and I, I'm trying to remember what we were doing, but she goes, let's just go out for dinner. I'm like, sure, no problem. So we grab the kids and we say, hey, anybody want to go out for free dinner? And then all of a sudden, boom, all of our kids wanted to be around us.
what a miracle.
Yeah, and so we're sitting at this bar and grill, and we're kind of waiting on our drinks. We're waiting on our food. And I see this guy at the bar, and he has got, I'm telling you, a mound of rippers. that he's gone through. Like, he was getting after it. And it didn't seem to me like a calculated risk. Like he said, oh my gosh, there's $700 left in that box, but there's only 100 tickets, so it's smart for me to buy them all. He was just going after them by himself with a beer, just getting after the rippers. And I'm watching this guy out of the corner of my eye. We have a drink. We have our food. We're waiting for our bill. And I'm finally like, I'm going to use the bathroom, but I got to ask this guy what's going on. And it was the entire time we were eating, he was just ripping. And finally I go, hey, what's this all about? And he goes, my wife said I gamble too much, so now I'm showing her.
Doubling down.
And I'm like, dude, in my heart, I got a little scared for this guy because if I pulled something like that with my wife, it's not just a bad day or week. Like, I'm talking a month or a half a year that I'm in the doghouse for something like this. So it made me start thinking about the doghouse. And have you ever been in the doghouse? You said no.
Yeah. I am pretty as close to perfect as you can get. I really think about all aspects of scenarios. Could this make my partner feel bad? Derek's pretty good. Like he's pretty thoughtful about his moves, but I don't know. Like that Jersey Mike's sub purchase, it was like he took 4 people out for lunch, but it was just him. Like he just spent so much money. Remember that? I looked at my online banking. I look in the morning and at night.
Hard to spend $48 by yourself on lunch.
I was just perplexed. I'm like, really? $35? I was like, I almost wanted him to say, I'm cheating on you. I took somebody else out because it had to make sense in my mind. How did you spend $35 at a sub shop? And then he's like, well, I had to get the milkshake to go with the chips and the chips to go with the 8-foot long sub. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah.
Hey, Clint, I appreciate you holding, man. You want to tell me about the doghouse situation here?
Made an expensive purchase on purpose.
Oh.
Just so I can get in the doghouse.
Why?
I didn't have to. I wanted to spite her.
But why?
She wanted her nails did, her daughter's nails did, new clothes.
Sure.
Go out to a fancy restaurant for that's like $300.
Whoa.
So I bought a TV to spite her.
You bought a TV to spite her.
So she liked the finer things. And I mean, you have a pretty good case there. If you say, listen, you're going to spend all of this, it's going to total what I would spend on this nice TV.
But after a conversation, you can't just go up and do that. What was the resolution of this whole thing?
I went to stay at a friend's house.
Okay.
She never called or texted me, and I never did the same because I had no point to.
Yeah.
Silent treatment for a week. I'm like, this is a vacation.
Sounds very healthy. It sounds like a healthy relationship there.
Hey, Joanne, tell us about the doghouse here.
My ex-husband was a sports gambler.
Okay.
And he would lose his whole paycheck gambling online. There were times I made him sleep outside in the car.
Good, yes.
The doghouse wasn't even good enough for him.
Now, my son, when he was a senior in college, had 2 roommates that more than once couldn't come up with rent because of sports gambling online. And they were living high.
Yep.
And then we'll pay for the entire party. We're paying for drinks this weekend. We had a huge week. Then all of a sudden they're living low. They can't afford rent. Somebody's got to float them for the next month. They're like, well, you don't have a job. But no, it'll turn around for me.
Yeah.
And that is the mind of a gambler.
And they're so young, too, with that mindset.
When I played a lot of pool, that was my mindset. It was, I know I'm down right now, but things are going to turn around. And the balls will roll fine for me one day. And I'll get back to it. And when you're riding that high, you can never lose.
What's the most that you lost?
In one night?
In one night, the most that you lost.
So I've always been very good about only starting with maybe $100. I'm only willing to lose $100. But one night I was in Memphis and I was there for a radio convention and I was bored. So I wandered away and there were somebody had said there's a pool hall down the road that is a really, really famous spot where you can definitely get action. And I was up $800 at one point, and I was feeling good, and I pissed it every single dime, plus my $100.
What's that feeling like? Just empty pit of your stomach.
I justified it by going, oh, well, I only lost 100.
Yeah.
When really it was 900. And I think that's the most I've ever lost in one night, but it doesn't take much to get into it. The last time you were in the doghouse, I'd love to get your story.
Today is a good day, but in moderation.
What else would the junk food junkie eat for breakfast?
The only place I am safe is here by your junk food.
National Junk Food Day. If you are on a diet, it's okay to treat yourself every once in a while. But what is the most popular junk food? They say pizza was the most popular.
I don't know if I consider that junk food.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you got the dough, you got the cheese. But, I mean, if you...
Junk food is like candy or ice cream or
That was
something like that.
number 3. Number 2 was ice cream.
So my son had his senior pictures taken yesterday, and they were on their way home. And because my wife, I just said to her, I go, is there any possible help I can give in this whatsoever? Just knowing the way she is. She goes, no, there's nothing you can do. So I stayed at home.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for me to be there. And they called and they're like, oh, stopping at the Dairy Queen. You want anything? And
nice.
good willpower. I said, no, man, I'm good. Everybody else in our house.
You didn't even get a Mr.
I got
Misty or
nothing,
anything?
man. I just like, yep, I'm gonna get healthy. And I did.
Do you think you're better than us when you do stuff
Yesterday
like that?
I was, yes. By far.
Okay.
Most
I
people
can tell
can't
on
say
your
no.
face.
Most people can't say no to Dairy Queen.
It's very difficult.
How long, when you took this job, how long did you think it was going to last?
Being 21, I had my sights set on the big city, you know? And then I did see all of my friends just getting blown out like every 6 months. And I'm like,
Same.
I'll try it out. And then you and I were a bit shaky there for a couple of years because
You were insane.
I liked to drink. I had just turned 21. I was like young. All my friends were at state. I would party and then just come right to the show. I mean, I was living a fast life. I truly was. So I really only gave myself a couple of years. And then we found our groove, you know? And
You're welcome.
yeah, cut to 19 years later.
I figured when I took this job, I'd be here 2 to 3 years. That was the thought, right? I'd kind of do my thing, leave my mark, move on to another radio station in Chicago, LA, New York, something like that, right? Glad I stayed, right? It's been a good thing. But the years go by really fast, and I ran across this list, and I want to see if you remember. These are things that happened 10 years ago this week.
Okay.
And I want to see if you
My memory's
remember
pretty good, so.
any of these. Fart-blocking blue jeans made their debut.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
I did. And I just feel bad for the testers, you know, the people that had to be behind the boots.
It was 10 years ago this week that dude went viral for eating Chipotle for 100 days in a row.
Oh.
But then, don't you remember this?
No,
So it
I've
was
had dreams that start that way.
It was a big thing. This guy was getting all this press because he had been doing it for 100 days in a row. Then turns out some other guy was already like at 153 days, but nobody paid attention to him.
Yeah.
So the shift went to the guy that was already at 153 days. 10 years ago this week, the WWE fired Hulk Hogan because he used the N-word.
Man, that guy's done a lot of weird things, but yet he's still kind of a lot of people's hero.
I think so. Well, I mean, he was obviously the biggest name ever in professional wrestling. But yeah, he got the axe because he used the N-word, and he was trying to sell a sex tape, and he used the N-word.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to watch the Hulkster.
I would say, you know, using the N-word is pretty bad, but I don't want to see him naked either.
Blake Shelton, Miranda Lambert got divorced 10 years ago this week.
Okay.
So she remarried in 2019. He got with Gwen
Yeah, but
Stefani,
she
and they
took
were
someone else's husband, so. That guy was married, by the way.
Bobby Christina passed away at the age of 22 10 years ago. That doesn't seem like 10 years,
That
does
was
it?
tragic.
Justin Bieber was dating Stephen Baldwin's daughter, Hailey Bieber. Everybody was like, they're dating? Wait, this is really, really weird.
Cut to
10 years now. They got one kid?
One kid.
One baby?
Yep.
And 10 years ago today, this is why I thought you would remember this week 10 years ago. Think really hard. Just close your eyes for a second. What happened 10 years ago this week that changed your life?
This is so obscure. I don't know. What would it have been that was so impactful that it would have changed my life? The Skort coming back?
No.
Do you know what a Skort is?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Just tell me. I don't have time. Mess around.
It was a huge hit when it launched nationwide, but a small strain on business. And Kat took an entire week to celebrate this that happened 10 years ago this week.
What are you even talking about?
McDonald's brought back all-day breakfast.
I mean, it was just so stupid to not. it was one of their smartest moves. And you know that I love me a good snack wrap. So I had to go back because there was rumors with the new unveiling of the snack wrap coming back and I had to do just field research. That's why I went and tried it. But they were like, the tortilla's too thick, the cheese, there's not enough cheese or whatever. I mean, it was perfection.
You loved it?
Loved it.
Yeah. Now, if you're like, hey, McDonald's doesn't have all day breakfast anymore, they had it right up till the pandemic, and they used that excuse to kill it.
Lame.
And that's the rest of the story. On the heels of that bonehead CEO getting busted at the Coldplay concert, how did you get busted in a cheating relationship? We're going to air all this out at 7:35 Tuesday morning. Going to want to be there for the live show. Plus, at 8:05, we got a chance to put $50,000 in your pocket. In the meantime, let's put a cap on the podcast. It's never a good thing when your current spouse brings up how horrible your ex was.
Well, I don't know what I do know what started it. So one of the women that was there was talking about how she finally got a new job. And she's just excited because she had dated somebody that still works at her previous job. And Derek goes, oh, Kat only dates people she works with. And brought up Chris. And I was like, listen, we all make mistakes.
What made this guy the worst?
Well, a lot. So he just was so narcissistic, and you don't see it until it's too late. He was one of those baby daddies where the baby mama was the worst. You know, you only hear their side.
Sure.
So then all of a sudden you take their narrative and you make your own assumptions about her, even though she was actually really cool and just wanted me to not go through what she went through. So secretly she would say certain things.
She'd warn you and you weren't hearing it.
But I'm like, ugh. What is she trying to do? Split us up? You know, and I've never been in an immature relationship. I've had a lot of really great exes, and he was just one of them that just wanted to make my life not the best. I'm like, all the other ones just wanted
Which
to.
seems weird when you want to cohabitate with somebody
He
that
wasn't
you
a
want their
partner.
life to be worse.
Yeah. And have you ever gone through something and you're like, would my previous people that I was with go through this with me, when I went through my colon stuff? And
there's no way this guy would have stuck it out with
there's
you.
no way. He would actually probably have made things.
It would have been
10
your
times
fault.
worse. Yes.
Yeah, he would have turned that around to where you know what, your body turning on you is causing me pain, and my life is worse now. I don't know if he would have for sure flipped that on you.
Yes, and they're out there, men and women alike. So if you want to call in and talk about your ex-girlfriend who was the worst, your ex-boyfriend who was the worst, we're going to do a battle of the exes.
And as soon as you brought this up, Adrian's been waiting on hold for a couple of minutes. You want to tell us about her?
My God, my ex, Tabitha, she would go in my wallet, steal money from me, always gaslit me. I mean, she was the worst. I mean, we would argue all the time. She was tough.
She'd go in your wallet, she'd take money, and then she'd pretend it was okay, or that she didn't take it.
Made me think that I misplaced it or that I gave it to her. I know I didn't. Oh, no, remember you said you let me have it?
Yeah.
And how long ago was this?
About 2 months ago was the last time we got into it.
Okay, so pretty recent, pretty fresh.
Yeah.
You ever had somebody that did that? They made you think you were forgetting things?
Yeah, that would have been Chris. And he did that all the time. Oh, my God. But we had a girl that worked here, too, and she had a baby with another guy that would take stuff from her purse. She would just leave her purse, and he'd be there to do the custody switch. And she would say, I literally had $400 in my wallet. I was going to go get groceries. And then all of a sudden there would only be $200. And I'm like, that is theft. That is theft. Sometimes someone just needs to go away for a little bit to realize
my
they
heart
can't do
rate
that.
is up right now. I ran through the scenario in my head that if I was to go through my wife's purse before she woke up and took money.
Yeah.
And my heart rate went up right now. I became physically scared.
You would be dead.
And she's smart enough to get away with murder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They'd never find
You
me.
live on a lake.
Bottom of the lake.
Bye.
Fish food.
Yep.
All 90 years later, somebody drained that lake. There'd be my bones tied to a cinder block.
Yeah. So anyway,
this is morbid, but who's got the worst ex? All right, so Adrian's on the he's on the list as far as she's going through stealing money, making him think that he's forgetting about it. Anybody else got something they want to toss in here? What we're talking about right now is the worst ex. Kat's husband brought up at a small dinner party how bad her old boyfriend, fiance was. Like
he wasn't even like around the table. It was all of us women, and he made himself available for this conversation. He came.
He saw an opportunity.
They were playing the frisbee game where you knock the bottle off or whatever, and he's like, "Oh wait, what are they talking about? Let me go over there and just say that she has once made a mistake before me." But he was my ex was up there with the worst.
This guy was a huge doucher.
Yeah, he would just like blame people for nothing, but then he had a guitar, so I was like, oh,
and he worked here, and I do remember like he didn't even have good work ethic,
right?
And it was constantly, if something was wrong, it was somebody else's fault right away.
Absolutely,
it was never his fault. So I get all of that. Hi, Nevaeh, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you guys?
Great, thanks for asking. Tell us how bad this ex was.
So, long story short, I was a lot younger. He lived a state away. He was my first love. We met for the first time at his prom, and we had a few-year long-distance relationship, and I would go and visit. Mind you, I was underage. I didn't have a vehicle at this point, and I went there to visit one time, and I stayed there for like a month.
Yeah.
And
a month?
He had... Yeah, a whole month.
Was this a situation where your parents were calling the cops, wondering where you were and stuff?
No, actually, my dad was perfectly okay with it. Basically, dropped me off.
Wow.
Wait. I have a 21-year-old daughter, and if she was 17 and she asked me to drive her to Madison, Wisconsin, to stay with her boyfriend for a month, I can't believe I would have been all right with this.
I don't want to assume that you were troubled, but was it something like, she's your problem now? Or were you like, oh, I just want to go?
No, it was genuinely, I just want to go. I was very thankful that my dad was trusting enough and whatnot.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it was a double-edged sword where it could have been really dangerous, but, you know, it was a really small town out in Wisconsin, and I was talking to this dude for like 3 years or something like that.
Okay.
So you're like 14, you start an online relationship with a guy, and then at 17, your dad's like, let me bring you there for a month.
Let's hear why he was so bad. What did he do on the daily that was like, you probably should have listened to your gut?
So, like, at first, like, the first few visits were great, but then our last visit, like, we had broken up, actually, prior to this, and then I went back because he started texting me again, and, you know, I fell into the trap. I ended up going back for that month, and, you know, things were great. His dad's fiance, like, gave me a job at her hotel, you know, like, I had a little place to stay there.
Sure.
But he had a friend who was hanging out with him at the time, and it was a female friend, and I didn't really, you know, think of anything of it. And, you know, we were all hanging out together and whatnot, and he had me here for a month. Mm-hmm. And I found out that they were actually like, getting together.
Oh, no.
So you're on the outside looking. You're 17 years old. You're in another state. You're on the outside looking in on this guy's relationship with someone else, and that's where you're staying? Oh, okay.
Yeah, your phone's a little cruddy.
Okay, anyways.
But
So,
you got the gist.
what's how long do you stay? Do you stay for a full month?
Yeah, I did stay for the full month, you know, because I was young, dumb, thought, you know, he would be better and whatnot, but no, he just, like, left me alone, like, in a town with no friends, nothing, no car, just stranded, you know, went out with his friends, hung out with this one girl.
Yeah. Well, he got you there.
Yeah.
You know, he got everything you wanted, and now you're, like, too close. You know, he liked you through the keyboard and maybe a state away, and then now he's got a living girlfriend. And he's like, great, this is not what
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for calling and sharing.
Like, wow.
Yeah, I know it sucks, but you're stronger now, right?
Oh, yeah,
Do you
definitely.
have kids yet? Would you let your...
No.
Do you have any kids?
No, I have 2 fur babies, though.
Okay. Would you ever let your fur baby go a whole state away and stay with another...
After they've been chatting with guys all month.
Heck no.
So Liam and I had just a nice kind of relaxing Friday night, and then Saturday night, Derek had to work. And I said, I've been saying for a long time, I want you to watch Final Destination. And it was almost a sign because I was coming back from an appearance on Friday morning, and I was behind a log truck a logging truck. And I'm like, this is it. We have to watch this movie. And he finally sat down, didn't blink the entire time.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Final Destination where, wow, your fate is already stamped.
A lot of people believe that.
Yeah. I mean, whether you know it or not, but Devon Sawa's character knows who's next. That's kind of a heavy burden to bear.
So you can walk around and know who's going to die next?
Yes.
And how?
Well, it was all because of like a premonition he had when he was about to leave on this school trip to Paris, and he like fell asleep before the plane left, and he like woke up all sweaty, and he's like, I got to get off, because the things from his dream were happening right in front of him again. He's like, I got to get off. And then all of a sudden, like 7 of them got off, and then they watched the plane take off with the rest of the students, and then poof, exploded. And he's like, how did you know? Anyway, was there a movie that you showed to your kids? Maybe a little bit to Derek was not happy that I showed Liam
Blues Brothers and Blazing Saddles, because my dad let me watch those when I was like 10. And the problem is it doesn't necessarily survive a whole lot of the generational gaps. But now that they're older, I've had them go, oh, my God, that was so great that you let us watch that. Oh, that was so great that you let us watch that. And so, I'm trying to think of anything else that was maybe a little bit too early for them. Some of the Adam Sandler films, we let them watch when they were like 5 or 6. And
it's funny to see what they laugh at, though, for those, and then what adults
they laugh at anything slapstick or when somebody gets hurt.
Right.
But, we laugh at some of the deeper stuff.
I just told Liam, I'm like, you think this is bad? My mom rented from Blockbuster Dr. Giggles when I was 7. And it was all about this guy who was a clown doctor, and he would chainsaw people's limbs off and like wave to people out the window with those arms. And I'm like, oh my God.
While I was on vacation, I did see a parody to Human Centipede on a reel, and I thought about you right away.
Face to butt.
I know that's one of your favorite movies ever. Is there any movie that you kind of like feel guilty that you let your kids watch a little bit too early? Why don't you hit us with a text at 320-251-1047? It's just kind of a chance for us to all feel better, because we're all horrible parents
every once in a while, But I think it's going to shape him. He's going to be more aware of his surroundings.
Do you remember going to the video store and seeing were they called Faces of Death? There was some movies that I remember they claimed that it was like real people dying on film. And I think it was, but I don't think it was real. Now that I'm older, I don't think it was. I think they staged it, you know what I mean? Like to make it look like it was actually real.
Yeah.
But I remember that being in the spot in the video store, and I would look at it all the time and be like, who would ever pay money to watch people die?
It's called a mockumentary, so it's probably
okay. So it
real.
Wasn't true.
Yeah.
But as a little kid, I mean, I'm like 8 or 9 going, wait, people are dying on these movies for real? And it was like murder stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's just sticking to my mind right now. Like, I would never let my kids watch something like that, but I remember being a little kid, being almost to the point where, like, man, I wonder if we can find an adult that'll rent this for us.
My mom also had me watch Schindler's List. I think I was maybe a little bit too young. I think it's very important for kids to know about it, but I was way too young.
I think you got to be mid-teens to understand it.
And then The World According to Garp with,
I never saw that.
With, oh my God, Robin Williams. And there are some scenes in there. I'm like, good
like
God, woman.
Scenes?
Yes.
Oh.
Crazy, dirty scenes. I'm like, ooh. But she just like rolled past it. Like, you got to deal with it.
And you're the finely formed human you are right now. What's the movie that maybe your kids were a little too young to see, but you were like, yeah, I gave it the thumbs up? So before we get to this audio, I listened to it this morning, and it instantly reminded me of the time, and I was trying to remember where you were going. But I was doing the show solo. And I waited till I knew your plane was in the air.
No, I was going under the knife.
Oh, that's what
and
it
you
was.
decided
You're right.
It was either a hernia surgery or maybe it was my colonoscopy, but you were like, everybody,
so I had
flood her socials.
I had posted Kat's number, and I said, somebody's going to win $100, but you have to leave just a Chewbacca scream. And
yeah, that was funny.
It was... I think it was up for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I felt like this was a bad idea, and so
Derek had heard
I pulled it
the
back,
alerts.
And I was just kind of thinking, I was wondering how many actual voicemails you got with people just going, like however Chewbacca does it.
I would say probably 20 is the limit for my phone. So it probably said
That
this.
was funny. But if you haven't heard this is great.
Yeah, this woman, her phone flooded with calls about a missing cat. The problem is she doesn't have a cat.
Hi, I think I might have found your cat, Torbo.
Hey, I think I found your cat, Torbo. I just started receiving all of these random calls, and finally Jonathan answered the phone, and he's like, why are you calling this number? It's 11 o'clock at night. They were kind enough to let us know your number is actually on a t-shirt that I bought.
First thing we did was try to contact them on Instagram, and we did get a reply just saying like, hey, sorry about using your number, but we're not making that shirt anymore.
So
they made it a while ago, and then it must have just like
they recycle phone numbers.
Yeah, put up on Etsy or something, and they're like, oh, it's a funny cat. We need to help this couple find their cat.
Horrible.
Yeah. But have you had a pet go missing in the last 6 months or so? How did you find? Because on our area Facebook page, a pet is always going missing. And then they put up the sad picture. And then the ones that really perplex Liam are the ones that say, please don't call their name or go buy them or try to chase them or catch them. He's like, then how are we supposed to get the dog back to you? You know, how are we supposed to
just call and say it's in this neighborhood? I had a pet went missing when I was 7 and found out when I was 18 that it got hit by a truck, and my parents just couldn't tell me about it.
Yeah. See, there's that statute of limitations when it comes to telling your parents all the bad stuff you did as a teen. Parents do the same thing. They're like, listen, for your whole childhood, you thought this, but now you're in your teens, so we can tell you.
And with social media now, like kick it back 20 years. When you lost a pet, you had to put like a flyer up on a telephone pole or at the grocery store. And maybe like make those little ripaways at the bottom with your phone number on them or something like that. But just kind of curious as to anybody else have a pet go missing lately? How'd you get them back? Did you use Instagram? Did you use Facebook?
Did you pound the pavement? You were out in the middle of the night with a searchlight trying to find
Whistling.
your precious dog.
Bingo.
Yeah. Come on back. Come on back, boy.
Tell me something good.
Tell me something good, Kat.
All right. Something good for us is that we're getting a new bed. It's like ours has seen better days, and you're supposed to switch it up after a decade and a half, right? And so I think it is too. But we have been dragging our heels, and lately I'm just like cricking and creaking. Might be the fact that I turned 40, but I'm going to give my body the benefit of the doubt. We're getting a new bed today, and I'm just so excited. Going to shop and get some new linens. It's always awesome, and that's what's good for me.
Tell me something good.
What's good for me is I've kind of been on the outside looking in. My son, Peyton, got engaged a month ago, maybe a little more than that. But I'm probably not the guy you ask a lot of wedding advice on, like for the day of, right? And slowly and quietly, he and his fiance have put together what is going to be a hell of a good time, I think.
A shindig?
In a year. So it's next July, I think on the 31st.
Okay.
And it's a little non-traditional because they're not going to do it in a church. They're going to do it at like an event center.
Nice.
But just the way they're planning it out so calmly and rationally and not cheap, but they're very conscious of the expenses.
Yeah.
Like, my wife is just kind of filtering this through me. She's like, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do this. And the other day, I just eventually asked, I go, what's the price tag? What is this? What is my firstborn getting married going to cost me?
Yeah.
And when she told me, I went, that's it?
So is it split 3 ways, them, you, and her family?
I really don't know what they're kicking in, to be honest with you.
Okay.
No, again, they're just kind of, like I said, getting their life started. They both just graduated, with their degrees just a year or two ago. And I think she just finished up her master's. And so, like, they're moving. They just got a place. And
so grown up.
It's so weird to have an adult child who's got their own life. Yeah. But at least for me, in my bank account, and maybe thinking about retiring one day. That's what's good.
Tell me something good.
Hey, Taylor, you want to tell some good news this morning?
So I was finally able to book a family trip with my kids. So
nice.
I'm really happy about that.
So you say finally because is it finances? Is it you couldn't lock down where you'd want to go or didn't have the free time or all of that working together?
Yes, all of it working together. So I'm very happy for that.
That's exciting. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, we're going to go to Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, fun. Some fun in the sun. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Tell me something good.
Can I say Kelsey's? This is pretty cool. Someone randomly paid for her coffee and croissant this morning. That's awesome. And I got to say croissant. You know, I live for that. Have you ever eaten something that like people wouldn't normally eat? So I was at my gig yesterday and I was surrounded by ponds in this area. And these two guys had been there for like 4 hours. And they walked by. I said, any luck? You know, you say to fishermen, any luck? And they said, no, we haven't caught one thing. So they set up at the pond that was like right next to my tent that I was standing at. And he reels in this massive fish. It was like, I don't know. You don't know how big that is, but it's like 9, 18, maybe like 22 inches.
Big fish.
And he's like struggling to get it off the hook or whatever. I'm like, what kind of fish is that? And he's like, it's a carp.
Nope.
And I go, do you eat it? And everyone looked at me like I just asked the dumbest question.
You smoke a carp is the
They
understanding
made it look
I
like
have.
you are not supposed to ingest carp.
I think people smoke carp. Now there are people on our lake that will go carp fishing in a bit like a shallow boat with all these lights, and they've got music blaring in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And tons of spotlights.
Yeah.
And we've got people that will fish. They'll spear them, they'll bow and arrow them, and they'll get after them. But like carp are, where I grew up was right on the Minnesota River, and you did not eat a carp out of the river. Never eat a sheephead or a carp out of the river.
Yeah.
But some people really enjoy like smoked carp.
All right. So I'm looking up taste and texture. When properly prepared, carp can be delicious, but it has a different meaty texture that most aren't used to.
If you enjoy walleye or northern or panfish, carp is a really acquired taste.
Yeah. So I don't know. I asked thinking it was an okay question. They were like, oh, no, we're not going to eat this. I'm like, all right.
They're fun to fish for, and they're great. Like, it's a great fight to get it in. But like I said, where I grew up, it was, we were always told you got to throw sheephead on the shore. You don't want to throw them back because they were overpopulated in the river. And carp was never anything you wanted to save to eat.
Listen, if we were in the early 1800s, you eat what you catch.
I'd
It
be
doesn't
eating that
matter.
raw, probably.
Yeah. Or the people that just drive around and look for the latest thing that was just recently hit on the side of the road. That's different to me. I don't think I would do that because how do you even know? I know if a belly is distended and...
you cook it up right. You cook it, anything is good.
That is the worst advice. You have a microphone. You have a responsibility. You can't say...
If you thoroughly cook it, it's fine.
That is not true. If game hit on the side of the road has been there for days and days and days and days, and bugs and bacteria, you can't eat that off.
I think if you cook it thoroughly, you can eat it.
I'm pretty sure every health expert out there is shaking their head.
If a turkey gets hit on the road and it lays there for a day and a half, as long as you thoroughly cook it, I think you're okay.
A day and a half in
August.
No, not a chance.
I think if you cook it.
October, maybe. Maybe it's cooled throughout the night. You might have a chance to not
At what
spend the day on
temperature
the
do you
toilet.
have to cook something to make sure that you don't get parasites or anything? Like, it's got to be like 180. If you can cook it to 180 degrees internal temperature, I bet you're okay eating it.
Wow. One, I won't take a chance on that, but it says 145.
Yeah. See, I'm not rolling the dice on it either, but I'm thinking if it comes to that or my family's starving, they're going to eat the dead turkey that's been laying on the side of the road for 2 days.
There are a lot of people that do hunt like that, and they're like, listen, prices at the grocery store, quite a hike. I'm going to go find my food.
Chicken's going to have to get a lot more expensive before I'm just looking for dead chickens on the side of the road.
Yeah.
All right. So
just a thought.
We did our we did our thing today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are going to get sick because of us. Great. Other people's problems. We call it OPP.
Yeah, with OPP. Can you help me? Yeah, with OPP. Can you help me? Yeah, with OPP. Can you help me? Yeah, with OPP. Everybody.
Hey, Dina, I appreciate you holding. I know you got to get to work, but I think what you were texting us was a valid concern. You want to tell everybody kind of what's going on here with your son?
It's kind of rough. He's 9 years old,
okay,
and we've been trying to get him involved in different sports, but whenever we get him on the team, he gets treated different and kind of bullied for not having the up-to-date equipment. They call it drip. I think that's what the word is for now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And It's just ridiculous. Like, I remember when I was a kid, you kind of got teased for not having the name brand stuff, but this is a sport. We're not focusing on all that. It's not a fashion show.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it. It's always going to be this way. If he doesn't have the right kind of shoes, the right kind of stuff for a sport, kids are going to be like, or at least he's going to see that, they might have the best of the best.
Yeah, but how do you even combat something like this? Like, you tell your kids to be kind, but they're not that way, like, around other kids.
I just kind of want parents out there to know, and kind of let their kids know, the same time you give them the pep talk before school about how to behave, that when they're on that team, that child's parent is doing the absolute best that they can, even just getting them in a sport. I feel like that's the most important part. Under the drip, the equipment, that's just secondary. Just be good at the sport and love what you want to do. You know what I mean?
So just a public plea of having that sit down with your child constantly. Maybe this kid does. You know what I tell my kid when he didn't have all the drip? I'm like, you don't need it to play your best. Some of that stuff is just the extras. And why don't you show them that you can play better than them, maybe without all that stuff?
Exactly.
One of the other things that I wanted to bring up, I knew a kid who didn't play baseball his senior year of high school and wanted to play lacrosse FTS.
Okay.
For the swag.
Yeah.
Because the lacrosse players at his school were getting a tremendous amount of swag, and the baseball team didn't have a budget, and he wanted the swag. There is something about, you want to read this text real quick about the drip?
Yeah, so Jen had said, while we were talking to Dina, it's how things have been. Let me scroll down. Everyone wants the best and the coolest. Kids are no different. I always budget for the, quote, drip. Whatever I can do to give my kid that extra confidence, I will do. And Jen, I think that every parent strives to give their kid the best of the best. Sports are extremely expensive. And then on top of it, to budget for that, some people can't swing it.
It's
like groceries or a sliding bit.
It's a little out of control with Instagram and TikTok as far as how many accessories you can have to your athletic ability.
It does take one cool athlete to set the tone that you don't need all that too, but you just need one that kids look up to. And
the first time my 15-year-old ball player came up to me and said, Dad, I'd really like these batting gloves. And I go, oh, okay, cool. How much are they? Yeah. And he goes, they're $110.
Yeah.
You're high. You are an absolute nincompoop if you think I'm doing something like this.
We were at Dick's the other day looking at mouth guards, and
you can spend $75 on a mouth guard.
Crazy. They were not like that when he started. We got the
moldable ones.
Yes. And they were like 4 for $15. And now you got the ones that look like pacifiers or devil teeth. And it's a lot. So
I'd be curious if anybody else has been kind of struggling with this as far as, your kids are athletes, but the drip is just draining you. And how do you get beyond it? Yeah. I mean, you can tell your kids, hey, I used to try and ration to my children, we'll get you a new pair of batting gloves for every home run. And then all of a sudden they have a good year and you're like, I'm out $800.
Yeah.
How do you go about this nowadays? With my son now, it's, you're going to get the basics and you're going to have a job, but he's 17. But if you have a 14-year-old and they're on a travel team and they're all about the drip, how do you handle this? I'd be curious to hear from Mom and Dad. I noticed nothing really changed around here.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I just see.
What did you expect to change?
When you're gone for a week, you expect maybe somebody threw some new paint up or replaced a carpet square that looked really bad or cleaned up the dank smell in the hallway or anything like that. I was just like, same old, same old.
What's weird is Liam loves the smell of that back stairwell. I'm like, that's complete mold.
Yeah,
that is
it's dangerous.
Stop taking the big whiffs. But it's like, do you ever remember going to your mom or dad's work and you just remember that smell? I remember that my dad worked at an ice arena. And my mom worked at a school that was brand new. And I remember both of those smells vividly.
It's weird that you say that because during the week that I had off, our neighbors, her family owned all the lake property that is sold off to all sorts of people, right? At one time. And then they gave it to their kids and their kids either built on it or sold it and then moved somewhere else. Well, anyways, her aunt and uncle were in town on, I believe it was Thursday, and they wanted to come by and see our house because it was the house they built by hand.
Wow.
And they wanted to see what it looked like now. There's been additions and things like that. And we were away at a baseball game, but my daughter was home. and she walked them through our home, and they were crying and taking pictures. This is where we raised our kids.
Yeah.
We almost got a divorce because of that retaining wall. I can't believe these original stairs are here. And they gave us all this history on our house that a lot of times you don't necessarily get. But it was just weird because when my parents had sold the house I grew up in and then built a house, my sister ended up going through that house years later, and she was like, it was so disappointing because they did this, and she didn't have that feel. And to hear that these people came through our home and really loved what we've done with it and what the previous owners did with it, I was like, oh, it feels good that you're kind of like being able to create joy. They didn't walk into like a hoarder's house or, oh my gosh, this was so cool and you wrecked this, but they were really complimentary. And I was like, I don't know if I'd ever walk through another house and then cry.
Yeah.
But they had this guy built this house with his bare hands.
I have like really, really good memories of our first house when we lived in St. Paul. And it was so huge to me when I was like 4, 5, 6. Huge. And then my sister and I went back and she's like, let's go knock on the door. And we walked through.
Who
and it
does
was like
that? That's a psychotic move.
We did. And they did so many improvements, but it was like walking through a Wonka hallway where it gets smaller. I was like, this place used to be like a mansion to me.
Does anybody feel like it's weird to go back into your childhood home? Like just to knock on the door and ask to look around? Let me know.